Welcome back to my channel, sports fans. Okay, let's get into this one right here. Victor Wembanyama, a bust. I don't want to hear it. I do. Stop it. Stop it. We'll talk about that. And for the Bengals, it's a wrap. It's done. They're finished. It's getting to the point where, look, I hear a lot of guys say, oh, they deserve this money. No, they deserve all this money in sports. A children's game, right? This is what you start playing when you're a child, making no money. Pop Warner, maybe middle school, we had, I grew up in the north, so we did have football in middle school. I don't think they do, in every state. But some middle schools, high school, in college, you make no money. And then you go to the pros and you make all this money. What I'm saying is, some of these guys do not deserve to get paid this money. And I'm just not talking about the Bengals. I'm talking about, man, come on. And I'm not talking about this game. These guys in sports, come on, man. Come on now. You're making all this money and you're getting your butt whooped game to game to game. I just don't think there's any professional team that should be ending their season 3, 4, 5 or more games under 500. If you can't even get to 500 as a professional team, as a professional player who makes tens of millions of dollars, you shouldn't make this kind of money. You're just not good at that job. If I'm not good at my job, they're gonna fire me. They're gonna tell me, you just ain't good at this. Now, there's people at jobs who aren't the best at what they do, but they still have a job. That's understandable. That's acceptable. There's just people at, in the workplace at certain jobs that's better than other people. Everybody can't be the best like me. I'm not gonna lie. I'm the best at what I do, and that's just that's just my attention to detail. And I've always wanted to be the best at that job. I've been told, I've been rewarded financially for being the best. It's just how it is. But everybody can't be the best at the job, but they have to be good. And to me, when you see this type of effort by these teams or these players, I mean, I guess you could say teams when you talk about, put all the players together, and they're just stinking it up. They're stinking it up. They're 3 games, 4 games, 5 games, 6 games, 7 games, 8 games under 500. In these sports leagues, the NBA, the NFL, MLB, are like, you're not even good. You're not even good. I mean, if your job isn't competing, eventually they're going to close down. They're that bad. Look, man, I don't mean to get off the subject. It just, again, when people say, oh, these guys deserve all this money because the owner's making all this money. Let me ask you, when people say that, they don't know what they're talking about. Your job is making all this money. The company is making all this money. Do you even get a quarter of what your job is making, your corporation and all this stuff? No. You can't sit there and have an agent and protest and not go to work for a raise and all this nonsense. You got to show up to work. Maybe there's some way, ultimately, you talking to managers that, you're telling them you want a raise or you're gonna leave or you're gonna look for something new, or you just go look for something new, period. Don't even tell them. I did that before. You don't like a place that much, you just get the hell up out of there. But some of these players ain't worth this money. They're just not. And I'm just not talking about the Bengals. I'm talking about the whole team. They're 4-7. There's no reason why the Bengals should be 4-7. Macaulay Culkin, I'm not sure. Is he a Dan Marino now? He went to that Super Bowl and now it's over? Goodness. And I'm not trying to say the NFL is easy. It just shows how more competitive it really is than the NBA. You know, when LeBron went to 8 straight finals. The NFL, you could never go back to the Super Bowl. As good as Peyton Manning was, he was a choke artist. He didn't get to the Super Bowl a lot of years. He was always getting beat in the playoffs in the AFC. So I'm not trying to say it's easy, but goodness gracious, some of these teams, it's just like these guys get these contracts and boom, they're hurt after that. It's like ridiculous. And I know they can't help it, but let's move on. I just don't think a lot of these sports players are worth this money. When people say, oh man, the players should be making all this money, stop counting their money. And I'm like, dude, get into reality. How about us out here who are really out here working? We can't get all this money because our corporations who make hundreds of millions of years and billions of dollars a year is making this money. We're not looked at like that. We have real jobs. We don't play a children's sport. So this is what I'll tell you. It was a good game. To me, I thought the Bengals was just going to get blown out. I thought Lamar was just going to run up and down the damn field on them. You never know with sports gambling now. I don't know how anybody can trust any sports league now. Like LeBron James has a DraftKings commercial about gambling. Like, what? Man, what do that mean? Yeah, make up all your excuses. I just don't think sports players should be on commercials about gambling. Why? For what? I don't even think I just don't. When I see some of these games now, some of this stuff it don't look right. College games, NBA games, NFL games. I just, it just don't seem like something sports you would want. And it was the worst thing in the world. If you talked about gambling being legal in sports, right? Now it's just legal all of a sudden. It's not bad. It's good. Okay, well, some of this stuff don't look right, man. I'll just leave it at that because you don't really have any. I'm not an investigator, but there's people out there with channels. I don't really have that effort or that energy to do that type of stuff that these people do. I'm not trying to say they're wrong or right, but they have channels showing people that some of these games are rigged, and that's their choice. I don't, I just don't have any clear-cut evidence. I mean, like I said, all I can say is some of this stuff don't be looking right. Okay, and there's people out there that they're sick. They're sick. They waste all this money every single day on gambling, and they don't win nothing. Do you understand? You don't win nothing because you lose and 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 you might win something little, and then you lose and 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 you lose, and then you might win one day something little. Then you lose. What it is, you lose way more than you win. So when the dummy wins, the dummy actually thinks he's a winner. He's a good gambler, or she. Or thinks he or she is going to win that big jackpot, and maybe one day won that big jackpot, but never subtracts all that money that you done lost. It's ridiculous. You think if that gambling benefits you, the gambling wouldn't even be legal. They wouldn't even put it out there on the table if they were losing all this money due to gambling. It's ridiculous. The house always wins. So I will never spend a penny on that. If we go to the casino, if I lose $20, $10, $5 one time, I'm never playing again. I'm a sore loser. I hate it. I'm not one of those people that finds it good to lose money and then be like, yeah, let me play again. I know I'm not like that. Give me a beer, give me something that I can actually enjoy that I benefited off of. Maybe, I bought something from the store, some clothes. At least I have it. At least I enjoyed it. Just losing your money and having nothing to show for it, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, man. I mean, I'm gonna be truthful. I have a father that has spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on gambling, right? He could have been giving that to his children. Scumbag, right? Gambling every weekend on football, basically losing, playing the lottery the pick 3, pick 5, the big lottery of the state, the Mega Millions, for years, for about 40 damn years, has never won. And this is the case for 99.9% of the population that does this. When do you win? You always hear it. what they always say, damn, man, they didn't play their numbers. For real. The time they didn't play those numbers that they play religiously every day, those numbers hit. Those numbers hit. Those numbers hit. So all this money wasted. All this money wasted. And 99.9% of the people every day that play never win the lottery. Huh. I'm going to just leave that alone. That'll go down a whole different damn street. And like I said, I don't have any proof, but there is people who made channels about the lottery being fake and being rigged. So yeah, I thought Lamar Jackson was going to walk all over the Bengals. Thought it was going to be a blowout. And like I said, with sports gambling, I guess only certain people know the outcome. Or I thought it was going to be, an upset. I guess that ain't really telling you nothing if the freaking Bengals win. But I was trending towards Lamar blowing them out because they came in that game 4-6. The Bengals 4-6. And I just, the Ravens just had it going. The Ravens looked like poop when the season started. And then they just started to roll. And they've been starting a lot of games slow. And then once they start scoring, it's over. So, again, my predictions are, did they play this year or they already played? The Ravens and the Chiefs. I got Mahomes against Lamar Jackson in the championship game. In the AFC champ. I just don't think the Ravens, I don't think they have enough firepower. The thing is, Kelsey isn't playing the Kelsey game. And I really don't think he did last year. I think, last year was the first year he didn't have 100 receptions. He got something close to it. But Kelsey is hiding now. Hiding. And Mahomes is using everybody else on that team, on the offense. And just when you think Kelsey is hiding behind the damn corner, boom! Here he is. You done made that damn catch and put the damn dagger in your heart. So, Kansas City defense is playing great. They're playing a great game. And that's basically what you need because Mahomes, he isn't going to be able to carry you every year. Yes, he's going to be able to be Mahomes in critical moments, be Mahomes through the game, but he's, it's kind of like Michael Jordan's, the second three-peat, right? It wasn't Air Jordan, right? And he came back, and it was the right team. Ron Harper was there. Steve Kerr was there. Luke Longley was there. Bill Winnington was there. Who else was there? Tony Kukoc was there. So they did have more offense and more defense than when he left, to me. Right? Than when he left the first time. I'm not going to say it was that the 96 team was better than the 93 team, but I think they had some younger players, some players who hadn't, been through that three-peat grind. So their legs were a little bit fresher, if you know what I'm saying. To four-peat, that's a lot. So a lot of those three-peat guys from the first team was gone. So in the second three-peat, Michael Jordan, he didn't have to play as much defense as he did the first time on the first three-peat. So he could concentrate more on his offense, right? And I know can't really compare the two leagues, but I'm just saying the defense in Kansas City is doing more of their part than Mahomes having to put up these incredible numbers. And in the end, I just don't think with the experience that the Ravens are going to get over that hump. I just don't. Something just tells me that when the ball drops and we look at these two players in the clutch, how do you stop Mahomes? I'm going to tell you how you stop both of these quarterbacks. How do you stop Mahomes? You don't. You can't. I will take Mahomes as a runner than Lamar Jackson. And I'll tell you why. Because Lamar isn't going to run it all the time. So you don't know when he's going to run it. He's a great passer on the run, out the shotgun, under center, and there's no indication that this guy really is going to run. When does he run? When you least expect it. When you least expect it. That's what kills you. Because you know he's going to kill you with the pass. He can kill you with the pass on a run. And he does it every time. With Lamar Jackson, he can't really, I'm not going to say he can't, but he's not good on a run passing the ball because he's not a pure passer. Yes, has he did it time and time? Yes, he has. But I'm just saying he's not the best. And if you stop Lamar from running, we've seen it in the past, he's done. For some reason, what he does in the regular season, he just can't duplicate that in the playoffs. He can't. I'm sorry. The body of work is there. And he's probably going to win the MVP, but that means nothing. Peyton Manning was winning all them damn MVPs and losing in the playoffs. So when a defense like Kansas City shuts down Lamar Jackson from running and makes him a throwing quarterback, and then now all they got to do is key in on his receivers because he's going to have to get those passes in there, pinpoint precision now on that Kansas City defense. While he's being rushed by the Kansas City defense. While he has to play Kansas City in Kansas City. Ha! Didn't Kansas City go to Baltimore last year and break their hearts? Well, folks, it looks like Baltimore is going to have to come to Kansas City this year. And I can tell you what, that can turn into something ugly, similar to a blowout. And that would be hard to believe. But I'm just saying, a couple interceptions here, a couple of fumbles there, not letting Lamar get out of the pocket, and it's a blowout, folks. The experience that Kansas City has is going to be too much for Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. Just trying to tell you. You can look all good there in the regular season. The coach did that for a long time. Trust me, I was a Colts fan. And we was always getting beat. So, switch it up and talk about Wemby. I don't care what you guys say. This guy, something is mentally wrong with this guy, or maybe something physically wrong is wrong with this guy. I don't know what it is, but something is wrong with this guy. What, he had something like 12 points last night? Didn't even have double-digit rebounds. Let me see. This is another problem. This guy is not getting shots. 4 for 13. Played 32 minutes. The most minutes on the team, almost. I don't know why he's not playing more. We'll talk about that in a minute. 2 for 6 from 3. I think 8 rebounds. 4 turnovers, and I think -7. This is concerning right here, folks. This is concerning. I told you, he's barely getting double-digit rebounds, barely breaking 20 points per game. What the hell is going on? He's not getting his shots. They're basically just running up and down the court, and he's playing like a damn small forward or whatever that's in the offense. Just what the hell is going on, folks? This guy should be getting superstar touches, no less than 20 shots a game. No more than 2 threes a game, which means your butt is down in the low post, being a center, a 7'5" center that turns around and bam, just dunks on these fools. What's going on, folks? This guy is a center. In many games this year, is not even averaging a 7'5" center. In many games, isn't even averaging 10 rebounds a game. Why is this guy not playing more minutes? Why is he not playing more minutes? Why isn't he playing more minutes? In I won't say little, but the minutes he's playing, he's not doing nothing. Is it a Chris Paul curse? What's going on? Him and Chris Paul should be dominating. Chris Paul should be showing this dude. Chris Paul should be throwing the ball to this guy in the post every single time, and this guy should be dominating in the post every single time. What's going on, folks? If this keeps up, this guy might not be an all-star. This is the West. He's not gonna be in there. Anthony Davis and Joker. In the West. He's not gonna be an all NBA player. Joker and AD and who else is over there? I would have to look that up. My mind is so cloudy right now. But yeah, there's no way. You think he's going to make an all-NBA third team? I don't know. Boy, I can't believe it. This guy is putting up bust numbers. Seriously, you know the numbers that this guy is putting up? This would be in this era. If we contrast that to other eras like the 90s, and compare, when we talk about fast pace and all this stuff, compared to their pace, this guy is averaging 17 points per game, 47th in the league, 17th in the league, averaging 9.6 rebounds, and shooting 41%, which is 112th in the league. 41% as a freaking 7'5" center. That's making me sick just thinking about it. In 30 minutes per game. Like, what? What are you saving this guy for? 22% from the three. 3.4 turnovers. Yeah, so his points went down. 3.7 blocks. But his blocks really don't have no impact. That's why Rudy Gobert won last year, defensive player of the year, because his blocks now are just like, he's 7'5". So he put his hand up, and it's a block. Which means, that's what I'm saying, this guy should be averaging 5 blocks a game. They're going to go back and look at his blocks, and he just put his hand up. There's no impact to what he's doing. And I'm just mad because I really put so much stock into this guy, so much investment into this guy mentally, that it was going to be a player that was going to come along and really, I don't know how to say it or the words to say it, but basically stop the storyline of LeBron James and now his son in clutch sports, and we can focus on the next. We can focus on something that's incredible. Even with Joker putting up incredible numbers these past few years, it still hasn't changed this storyline with the Lakers and LeBron. Because seriously, let's be real. The numbers that Joker's putting up and he's been putting up, they're sensational, but he's really not exciting. He's not really exciting to watch. He's not exciting to, interview when he talks. Nothing. He really has no charisma. And that's why he's not really a big storyline. They try to make him a storyline, but nobody really cares. And he's probably going to win another MVP, but to me, it just shows how weak this era is. He would not be doing this stuff to Patrick Ewing. Keem Olajuwon, he won't be doing this to, these great players, these great centers in the past. No way. No way. To Shaq, to Wilt, there's no way. For one, he's undersized for a center, right? He's undersized. You got to be 7 foot to be a center back then. He's a power forward at best in the 90s. They would be blocking the shot up and down the court. But this is his era, whatever. But it really does expose how weak this era is, because he couldn't dominate like that back then in a center position. Maybe, he could do his thing as a small forward, not small forward, well, power forward, whatever. He couldn't do it as a center. I'm not trying to say he couldn't play in the 90s, but He couldn't play center in the 90s or the 80s. He would get blocked. He couldn't be in. And what about his defensive prowess? Who could he defend? I told you guys this, I think yesterday. If you wasn't the best defender at your position on the team, you wasn't going to start. You just wasn't. They didn't care about offense first. They cared about defense first. That's why I was telling you, Steve Kerr was a better shooter than Ron Harper. And Ron Harper he wasn't even a great offensive player like he used to be when he played with Cleveland. But he was a better defender than Steve Kerr, and that's why Steve Kerr couldn't start. That's why ultimately John Paxson got benched for B.J. Armstrong. Or even when he didn't get benched, B.J. would come off that bench fast. I guess they were just trying to give Paxson a little bit more respect. But it's times where he didn't even come in the damn game too many times after B.J. came in. It was defense first. So Joker he would just be a liability. I don't even know if he would start in the 90s. It ain't got nothing to do with him being white or nothing like that. All kind of white centers and white players that was starting and stuff like that. But defensively, he just don't have it. Nobody's just going to let you shoot back in the 90s. They're not going to let you do it. And even with that, most of these guys in this era, man, I need a pick. I need a screen to score. Everything is pick and pop. It's ridiculous. And then you tell me these are the greatest shooters of all time because they need a pick and pop every time they damn shoot. Yeah, so I don't know what to say, man. People are going to keep attacking me for talking about Wemby. You know, this guy should be averaging damn near no less than 30 points per game in this weak, soft era where he's 7'5". Who can stop him? And getting all these points in the post. I'm sorry, man. You guys are making me. I'm getting attacked. I'm telling the truth. You guys are this guy should be starting slow because he did last year. Give me a break. I can tell you something that's probably going to ring true. Ultimately, the NBA fans are going to get cheated this year because these guys took their butts to the Olympics, and they're not going to be able to get that energy back. Not with their track record of being old, having so many miles on them. And that's why Mike didn't want to keep going to the Olympics. He didn't care about that stuff. He did what he had to do in the Olympics. He wanted to keep his body fresh for the next season. Joel Embiid had no business playing on that Olympic team after what he did in the last season, being hurt and all this stuff, right? AD had no business going there, injury prone. LeBron James, old as hell, had no business at 40 years old going to the Olympics. I don't know if it's starting to rear its head with Wemby now, being fatigued. You're not only playing, you got to do the hustle and bustle. Do interviews, go practice, go do all this stuff. It's sucking the energy out of you. And some of these players, they're not going to be able to get that back. It's just how it is. Say what you want to say. They're not going to be able to get that back. They're not going to be able to get that energy back, that rest back that they could have had. So we'll see what happens. This is right up the alley of, to me, the NBA, the LaFans. Nobody can be talked about except for the Lakers. This and other players. This was supposed to be Wemby's year when we're talking about him, folks. And this guy has turned into a bust. He's a bust. He's young. He's supposed to be coming out dominating. Again, no less than 30. 12 to 15 boards and 5 blocks. Shooting a monster 55% from the field. This is a center, folks. You can't make it. It's just, tell me what you think.